So I tried to record this video earlier today, back when I made the one where I played, the boss man, cross man, but I couldn't quite find the right words to say. I deleted it. It didn't feel right. So I'm trying again. We'll see what happens. I don't really know. Again, this is one of those casual commentary videos where the gameplay takes a bit of a backseat to just talking, maybe even not talking. I don't know. Silence is nice sometimes. I got my earbuds taken out, my eyes not barely looking. So we're gonna sit back and relax a wee bit, alright? If that's okay with y'all. I wanna talk about what I can do. Like, why do I make videos, and what can I do with my videos? And I've been thinking a lot about what I'm able to do and what I want to do, and I've come to a realization that I've known this before, but never quite to the extent that I've been realizing recently, which is that in overcoming obstacles through Brawlhalla, in the context of the game, a game which I very much am passionate about, and a community which I'm very much passionate about, there is such a huge overlap between this and overcoming obstacles in real life as well. And I've been thinking, like, what can I do, given that I'm someone who clearly is, jumps into ground pound, so not the best player. Clearly not the most confident, most knowledgeable, most eloquent, most successful, any of those things. Like, what can I do? What can I offer? But I've been thinking that doesn't matter, necessarily. It doesn't have to matter, because what I can offer is me. And whatever I am can give me, or whatever I've experienced or put myself through or been forced to put through or been put through or whatever, is something that can make up my ability to create and to communicate, to share, and to try and help. So I've been thinking, like, I'm obviously not the most confident or thick-skinned. Things get to me very easily. I see comments, and I used to tell myself, I used to even say it, that I was super thick-skinned and comments didn't get to me. I was just lying. But I believed it. I was just lying to myself, really. Because I didn't want comments to get to me. But when people are sad or angry or happy or whatever, I feel that a lot. And that's just where I am right now. And maybe I should detach, or maybe I shouldn't, and that's up to me. But given who I am, I'm a pretty insecure person. I talk a lot about my thoughts, but that's a big upside, I think, is that even though I'm concerned about a lot and I worry about a lot, I think I'm very open with it, and I think that also lets other people know that it's okay to not, sometimes you don't know things. And anyway, or sometimes you're going through things and you're not going through them alone. So I've been thinking a lot about that and what I can offer, and again, I've realized that overcoming obstacles in Brawlhalla is not overcoming obstacles in a video game, but it's overcoming obstacles in real life, and that's translated by movements in a video game. And so by opening up the context of what is actually happening in the game and understanding what that means in real life, I think is something that's been very much of an interest to me, and to what I can do, and to what I want to do. Streaming is something that I've always felt tired me extremely quickly, and although I enjoyed it, I would need bouts where I just didn't do it for a while because it drained me super fast. And then I had this one stream where I just talked for 4 hours about mental health, and about improving, and about problems that we're having as a community. And again, I mentioned this, I think, in a previous video, although maybe this is the one I deleted. They're kind of all blending together. That by problems, I don't mean, Axe is broken. And I don't mean, BMG nerf Lance. Those are just, obviously, I don't know how that interrupted. you know, just statements that people talk about a lot. I'm talking about, like, why is it that we feel like we need to go to Brawlhalla? I say we, and maybe this doesn't apply to you, or maybe it does, but I guess the idea is that, with what I said about my experiences and stuff, like, why am I doing what I'm doing, or like why am I thinking about certain things, is because I want to help people, or try to help people that are similar to me, and I think there's a lot of people that are very similar to me. So like, what is the problem? It's not that every time you tune into Lance you think about like how broken Lance is and like BMG is so stupid for putting this weapon into the game. It's like, why do you think that, and why does that affect you so much? Like, why does that have such a negative impact on your life? And like, what can we do about that? And like, why is it that video games are supposed to be like this fun outlet, or even maybe not even a fun outlet? It can also be like a distraction from our lives, a fun distraction, or a way to immerse ourselves in another world. You know, that's a great thing about video games. Like, why is it that sometimes we play this game and we come out of it severely unhappy, and it's supposed to be this thing? Or maybe it's not, you know, maybe that's some expectation that I'm setting, but like, I don't want people, it pains me to see how unhappy experiences with this game can have, because a lot of the time what I notice, and maybe this is me assuming too much, but it's not necessarily about the game, but putting things in terms of context through the game, I think can help in realizing what it is. And I know that's kind of very vague in general, and I guess the idea is that because it's something general, it's hard to come up with or it's hard to say it in such a, I guess, more specific way, but that's the general idea of things I've been thinking about. And so again, it's like the concept that I can... Okay, I'll give some more context, just for background. So I've thought for a while, and this is a fun fact, actually what I wrote my college application letters for, or letter about. I wrote it about Brawlhalla. Fun fact. I went over this on stream once. The topic of interest, or like the question for the essay, was write about something that you feel is so important to you that you feel like your application would be incomplete if you didn't include it. And I wrote about Brawlhalla. So that's the context behind what we're talking about here. That's the person who we're talking about. And the reason why is because I realized that Brawlhalla has been not necessarily the catalyst, but a huge part of the journey of like who I've become as a person and who I continue to become, because people aren't static, people change. And that it has helped me grow so much through everything that it's offered. And by that I mean learning about competition, learning about failure, about success, about friendship and community, about teamwork, about communication, about lack of teamwork, lack of communication, about like what's important to me, and maybe what's important to you. I don't know. But I guess the idea is that I've found through this game so much, and in many ways I want to see if I can also help others maybe recognize or maybe find those things as well in their lives. And so that's what I've been thinking about a lot. And like, I know those are like big ideas, and like the things I do like aren't necessarily met up with that, I guess, in some sense. Like, what does Lone Legend to Diamond offer in terms of like overcoming obstacles in people's lives? Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it's this big analogy for overcoming hardship, because it's not. It's just a fun challenge. But that's part of the point, is that Brawlhalla, part of what Brawlhalla has offered me is fun and growth, and obviously a massive, extremely huge platform. Like, maybe not nearly as big as some other people, obviously, but the fact that 60,000 people decided that, you know what, I'll watch another one of these guys' videos is huge. That's unbelievable. I cannot wrap my mind around that, even if I wanted to. So, obviously, I mean, more than just that, because I think the things that I've learned in, like, for my personal life, personal growth, and the friends I've made are so much larger than that. Ironically, as big as I say it is, but maybe that should tell you why this is meaningful to me, I guess, maybe. But, yeah. Anyway, the idea is that if I can find that, or the fact that I've found that, and the fact that I've also struggled a lot through finding these things, and that I continue to, means that I'm able, like, at least it means I have some of the tools, and by tools I guess I just mean experience, to work through those and identify them, and then see it with other people, and see what I can do. Like, I guess it goes back to, like, the original thing I said. Maybe I didn't say this, I don't really remember, because I get lost in my thoughts sometimes. It's like, what can I do? And I can do, like, the thing that I can do is the thing that I can do, and, like, what can I do? I can use my experiences, my specific experiences, and manifest them in certain ways. And so, like, part of it is this video, where I've had certain experiences where, I'll give you an example, where I made videos, and people responded in ways that inspired me. Like, you realize, like, you guys inspired me. Like, y'all legitimately are a big reason why I make videos. Like, it's not just me, you know? I'm not the only part of the equation. And seeing that when I talked about being anxious and grappling with questions of self-worth and entitlement and deservedness, and then reading a comment that someone said that I thought I was the only one that thought these things, like, part of me was happy that, and it's like, it's a big bundle of emotions. It's not that it's like one of them is bigger or worse. It's like, I feel a lot of things at once when I read that. I feel very happy that, you know, maybe me talking about my thoughts helps someone realize that it's okay, and that maybe, I don't know, there's a little tidbit of info that can help someone along, or maybe not, I don't know. But it also makes me really, really sad, because it means that that person, and it's not one person, it's like hundreds of people, and it's like, it's kind of overwhelming at times, but it's like, why does that person need to hear that in a YouTube video about a 2D Flash game? Like, why can't that person hear that at school? Why can't that person hear that at work? Like, why can't that person hear that at home? Why does it have to be in a YouTube video where it's the first time where they hear that it's okay to be anxious and to have problems with self-worth, and it's normal, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just, like, things to work on, and you're not alone. Like, why is the first time they hear that in a YouTube video? And that makes me sad, because there's a lot of people that didn't, I mean, obviously, there's so many people that didn't watch that video, or that don't have those resources, or that struggle with those things, and they don't play Brawlhalla, and they wouldn't see it. Or maybe, like, maybe I'm overstepping here, because obviously, like, the extent to which like a single video where just a adult talks about how he doesn't he doesn't deserve the views on YouTube he gets, like, maybe that I'm, like, assuming too much from the effectiveness of that, which I guess is also kind of the point of what I'm talking about, and I'll get to that later, which is that I'm not necessarily trying to be effective and help a billion people, because I don't think that that's where my goals should be. But I guess the idea stands that, like, a lot of people suffer. There's a lot of suffering in the world. And, like, there are many things that I could do about it. But what do I feel most armed to do? I feel most armed to help the Brawlhalla community with the problems that we, the Brawlhalla community, have. And so that's what I've been thinking a lot about. And, like, where to start and how to do such a thing. And, like, for a while, I think the thing that stopped me is the idea of trying to make a perfect solution and have a perfect video, so I never have to repeat myself. And again, I might have said this in the cross video, and I don't really remember. Or I might have said it in the one that I deleted, but, like, that doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, I can mess up and not make the perfect video, because the perfect video doesn't really exist. The video is the best video that I could do right now, because it's the only thing that I can do right now. Like, I can't be another person and make a different video. I can only make the video that I, like, am making. So, that's what I can do. And I think that it's okay to try. And I hope that it's okay with y'all that I try. And I don't know what's gonna come of it, and that's alright. And I don't know if I'll be interested in all this in a month's time, and that's alright too. But it's what I've been thinking a lot about. Especially about meaning and place and belongingness. Like, what can I do beyond just making videos that, you know, might be entertaining? I don't really know. It's weird for me to think of my videos as entertaining, because if I try to watch them, it's a very different perspective than y'all. But like Lone Legend to Diamond, I guess, is an example of, like, something that I just make with the pure intention of having fun, and along the way maybe helping people with a little nugget per video. That's, like, kind of what I go into it with. Gotta take a swig of water. Been talking for a little while. But, like, I can do that, and I can do other things too. And just because I do one thing doesn't mean that I can't do another thing, because I enjoy both. I enjoy both making guides about how to improve a certain weapon, and playing 1v2 to Diamond, and being an idiot where I talk about defending Miami Dome from the invaders. Like, I enjoy that a lot. And I also enjoy talking about ranked anxiety, and why people, including me, at times, are scared to go into ranked. And trying to understand why that is, because often it's not just in Brawlhalla. Like, the things behind that are in real life too, I think. Maybe not for everyone, and maybe not manifest in the same ways, but I think they're similar. And that's just one example. So I want to get an understanding of, like, certain things that a big range of people tend to struggle with, and maybe not even a big range of people, maybe just one person. And, like, what can I do to try and understand that? So I guess the big part of what I'm talking about, if you look at the big thesis of the video, I guess, of my brain thoughts trademark, it's that it's a kind of about understanding. And understanding, I think, is the first step towards really growing. Let's see if I can understand how to hit a ledge cancel combo. Never mind, I'm dead. Yeah. Sometimes that worked out. Sometimes I think about why I have an audience, and a lot of the time it's hard to understand, and part of me can accept that it's just because of me, and that I do have, like, value, but then sometimes part of me tells myself that it's because I have to do certain things to deserve it. Like, I have to make this guide to, like, approach people, or I have to make a guide on how to improve to have enough value to justify people coming back and watching. And then sometimes part of me thinks that I just got really lucky, and that what I offer is not nearly valuable enough to justify anything that I've gotten out of it. And again, that's like kind of going back to other things that I've been talking about, which is that those thoughts are applicable? I don't know how to speak. To a lot of other things that aren't just Brawlhalla. Like, where do those thoughts come from? Like, I don't really know, and that's something that I'm like trying to understand and explore and find out, and that like just because they're present when I make YouTube videos doesn't mean that they're never present in any other aspect of my life. Like, I don't think so. Like, just because I get really nervous when I sometimes play ranked, or why sometimes I don't want to play ranked in a video, you know, sometimes it's because I don't want to queue for 20 minutes, but then sometimes it's because I don't want to present something that's bad. Like, why am I so scared of presenting something that's bad to like, y'all, to the audience? Like, why am I so scared of presenting bad gameplay? Well, like part of it might be because of those thoughts where I don't necessarily have value unless I have something of worth to give you. So the fact that I don't have good gameplay is like goes against that idea, if that makes any sense. Like, I need to have good gameplay to justify people watching, and so if I don't have good gameplay, like, sometimes I just like feel terrible about the video because like of those thoughts. And like, are those thoughts only in Brawlhalla? Like, no. Like, why I'm also sometimes scared to play ranked or play seriously or anything like that, because what if people think I'm terrible? But then the question becomes like, why am I so concerned with other people thinking I'm terrible? Why does that matter so much to me that it'll stop me from enjoying something like making videos that I really genuinely enjoy? And obviously that one is, I think, a bigger example, or more obvious example of how that can apply to real life, because that's the whole thing about like caring about what other people think about us. And not necessarily caring, because I think caring can be totally fine, but I think putting so much stock into it that what other people think of you is more important than what you think of yourself. And so like, why is that? And that's something to explore. And like, this is exactly what I mean at the start of the video, which is like these things in Brawlhalla. Like, why are you so scared to play ranked? Why does it hurt so much when people look at your win rate and they make fun of you for it? Those things aren't just about Brawlhalla. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean. But by thinking about them in the context of Brawlhalla, I think it can help with applying it to other situations. Like, if you're able to overcome the obstacle of ranked anxiety, like, maybe then you'll have some tools to overcome like social anxiety and stuff like that. And like, maybe not. Maybe like that's completely wrong. But I guess it's still like, you're still doing something in some sense. Like, even if it doesn't have that side effect, you're still gonna work on the main effect, which is Brawlhalla. And if you want to get better at Brawlhalla, then that helps with getting better at Brawlhalla. So, yeah, that's what I was getting at. And I'm glad I kind of got to that point, because a lot of the time, so this is something about myself that I'm sure is pretty obvious, but I've never necessarily put it into words, is that, actually I probably have, because I say this a lot. A lot of the times things make sense to me in my head in kind of a nebulous cloud. Like, I can understand it, but I can't necessarily verbalize it. And because of that, it can sometimes be frustrating that I'm not able to explain what I want to say, or when I try to explain it, I don't do, I think, the idea justice. And I'm glad I was able to reach that point, because that explanation right there, I think, is an example of what I was thinking of in my head. And it's a skill I'm getting better at as I'm making more videos. I think this video is, actually, I'm kind of astounded that I haven't gotten sidetracked as much as I normally do. And maybe part of that is because I'm talking about something that I'm very invested in. And that's not to say that I'm not invested in other things I talk about, but maybe that's something to think about, is that, wow, when I'm very invested into something, like, it can give me the ability to stay on topic and to really talk about it without fear of running out of things to say. And, you know, that fear of running out of things to say, I've also talked about before on the channel, and, I mean, look at me now. Is that permanent? No, but clearly it's, you know, at least I think in this video I've been pretty coherent. Not in my gameplay, obviously, but but sometimes in my speech I say some things that I actually mean to say, and whether or not it's actually meaningful or just like bogus or whatever, like, it could be. But I think the point is that that I'm okay with what I'm saying right now, and yeah, I guess that's kind of cool. Anyway, this Diana, like, hasn't died in a while, so let me do something about that. There we go. Yeah, I'm thinking that, oh god, I just looked at my my screen, and it looks like my gameplay is at like 10 FPS, and that's very sad. I hope it's not like that in the actual recording, but I'm thinking that it's probably a good place to close it off, given that I kind of said what I was thinking, what was on my mind, what I wanted to say, and we'll close off the chat from there. Hopefully it wasn't 10 FPS. That would be very sad. If it was, gameplay's in the background anyway. I hope y'all will stay tuned if you want to stay tuned. We'll stick around if you want to stick around. I don't want anyone to feel obligated to or feel bad for me, so they pity watch. But for those of you that do, I hope you're okay with me trying. And I'll see you in the next one.